What's going on, everybody? It's Fearless here, and today we have a very special episode of 4 producers flip 1 sample with our very own KaBlamDayud, PullupGeorge, and Stooodle. Today we're going to be using this dark mechanical sounding sample here. You can definitely feel the energy pulsing as it plays. And super quick, I just want to let you know that our new drum kit, the Blizzard Storm, is officially dropping the 15th of December, and you can pre-order it today and get all the crazy bonuses that are exclusive to just the first 100 people only. And these sounds, these are the nastiest sounds we've ever made. But anyways, let's get back on track. I sent this sample over to the guys and I told them to go fucking ballistic. So this is what happened.
Yo, what's up everyone? It's KaBlamDayud. First of all, I'd like to give a major shout out to FEARLESSBEATZ for allowing me to participate in this sample flip. So without further ado, let's head into the studio so that way I can break down how I flipped the sample. Alright, so here's the project I have open up for it. And already from the sample itself, I was already thinking, man, this already sounds like a cool ass pad I could use for like a dubstep song and stuff. First, put my BPM to 145 because I usually work around 150 to 145 when it comes to my dubstep. So I pretty much stretched it out, pitched it up about 3 semitones, and put my stretch algorithm to Stretch Pro so that way I can still kind of preserve the natural sound and everything while I'm also transposing it with the pitch. And it turned out to be this in the end. So that already freaking sounded dope as hell to me. So I was like, alright, we're gonna start dropping some drums in. So that's when I basically dropped just like a simple kick snare pattern with some rides going into it and stuff, just to kind of get the rhythm going. And from this point on, to actually add a little bit of extra texture to the so-called pad sample and everything, I added this extra ARP to it and also, which kind of gives it a little bit of extra texture in the background. Add that on top of that and you get so it's really subtle and everything, but it kind of really adds like a light texture to the top. From there on, I added these vocals on top of this. No, so this is basically just like a simple refrain and everything saying 4 producers on a beat, gonna do a collab feat.
4 producers on a beat, gonna do collab feat.
Made the build up and everything, which I basically just used a simple build up sample from Oversampled. Added a few effects, really give it some tension and stuff. It's actually a freaking recording I did where I basically just said FEARLESSBEATZ and all that stuff, and I basically kind of pitched it around to make it like a little rhythm. Getting into the drop, first thing I worked on was actually the drums for the drop and everything, because me personally, I like my drums to be really expressive. So I pretty much took like how I did the kick and snare from the first one, and I basically just started adding like extra kick rolls, extra kicks, and even putting a little bit of extra fills in there so that way it kind of really gives it a feel like there's an actual like real drummer doing it. And from there on, I actually ended up working on the drop right here, where basically it all started with just this first sound right here. Before I did all of this extra post-processing, I'm gonna take all this off. It basically sounded like this when I first did it. And this is basically just like a simple little vital patch I made. Then we went to the response right here, the second one. Again, this is basically just the same patch that I did before. Then of course we have a second call right here. Just to give it some extra tension, we added a little bit of pitch on this. Pretty much, yeah, that's how I flipped the sample and everything. Once again, major shout out to FEARLESSBEATZ for allowing me to participate in this.
Okay.
Oh, I like that riser.
Okay.
4 producers on a beat, gon' do collab feat.
Oh shit, okay.
Gon' do collab feat. 4 producers on a beat, gon' do collab feat. For producers on the
For producers on the beat.
collab feed. For producers on the beat, go do collab.
I love this build.
For producers
Get
on
it.
the beat, go do collab feed. Fearless
Okay,
beats,
okay.
fearless beats,
EDM.
fearless
Or producers on a beat, bro. Let's go.
Oh no!
This is like jump up dubstep or something like that. I don't know, I don't really know what I call it.
Ooh, the sound design on this.
Go do collab feed.
I have no idea where to start if I would have to make jump up.
This bass is just so squelchy.
Collab feed.
Oh, this is nasty, fam. What the heck?
And he still ain't finished. He still ain't finished.
Wow.
That was brutal. That was brutal.
But like in all the best ways, you know? That was, holy man.
Oh, this is just crazy, fam. What kind of drugs are you on? Bro, I need some of that. What is this?
I don't even know.
Okay, it's the outro right now.
This guy's going Super Saiyan in the middle of a beat.
That was crazy.
Crashes. Crashes are key.
That was just... I don't even know what to say, fam. That was fire.
Welcome to my part of the breakdown. My submission existed out of 3 parts. We got the New Jersey part with the Lil Uzi Vert acapella, we got the drill beat, and then we got the trap beat with the triplets and stuff. So let's start off with the first section. I manipulated the sample quite a bit for this one. I used the Beatz mode, the Beatz warping mode. I downed the pitch by -11 semitones, and that sounded like this. Really spooky. And then I just literally copied the pattern from I Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert. Did the same with the 808s, the exact same thing. The 808 I used was the Pink Grills Drain 808. And then I put I Just Wanna Rock through a AI that divided the vocals from the beat. I just dragged the sample in at the original BPM, which was like around 150. And then I cranked it up to 166, but after I put the warp mode on. So drag it in, then it's gonna be unwarped, then make sure the sample is warped, and then put the tempo of your project back up. And then it was on time, but I just used this little warp tool because it was still a little bit off beat, you feel me? So I just wanted it to be tack 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 right into the beat, right into the rhythm. As you can hear with the kicks, I also had a filter that went open, so this is basically like an EQ, just opening up, like going from the bass frequencies up to the high frequencies. Really simple. To make the transition, I also took one of Lil Uzi's ad-libs, I guess you could say, and put it into a different track and added this huge delay on it. And then I used the chopper preset to make the sound go from your left ear to your right ear and make it like really trippy. Then Lil Uzi's huge damn transitions us into the drill part. For the drill, there's nothing really too peculiar. Like, I can't break down the whole beat because that's gonna take up way too much time. Then my tutorial would take up like 10 minutes, and I want to give the other guys their time too. For a hi-hat, it's nothing special. I guess the only special thing you could say is that I grouped. I used 3 different hi-hat sounds and then grouped them together and put a loop operator on the whole thing. And that's like the only thing that made it special. Then regular drum patterns, the 808s. Let's break down the 808s because these were pretty interesting. Ever since Ableton updated to Live 11, I use like a couple of gliding techniques together. For instance, I use the note expression technique. This note over here, this is the original pitch of the E flat 4. And then it drops down like all the way to back to the root note. This is something I like to use in combination with the glide that we already know in Ableton, which is this glide over here, which I put real fast, so 50 milliseconds. And then with the other note expression glides, I can choose how long I want the glides to be. That way you're super flexible and you can really make these 808s glide all over the place without having to, you know, create a million tracks. After I had the drum patterns, I decided to chop them up a little bit. I just basically chopped some of the pieces out of the drum patterns. With the melody, I did the exact same thing, and I think that's what amplifies this effect. So just take the part of the sample where it stopped, and then just duplicate it. It makes it like really like, it makes you feel like you feel me, and then the beat continues. Also a lot of risers, nothing too special about that either. I used every single one of my variations of my tags that I have. Also used the cymatics downlifter, which I think was really cool. I also use the sub drop, which is something that's quite rare in this genre. It sounds like whoa, but it really isn't all that special. It's just a couple of glides, and then, you know, like I said, combining the glide techniques. Just really simple fill that I included into my pack. You can still get it up on my BeatStars page. And I also chopped up the sample into a slicer tool, used an EQ, auto pan, nothing too special about that, and pitched it 1 octave up. And now the real sauce. So I also grabbed this arcade crate bank, and I did this with it. And then we go into this part. 808 is what's cool because it doesn't start on the root note, but it starts on like the dominant tone. Then I sampled the beat inside of my project and slowed the project down. You can see I automated the tempo. Let's go over to song tempo. It goes from 166 to 104. When you put it in repitch mode, your beat is gonna sound like it's like it has been exported, and like the engineer has done something with your beat, like for the outro.
Okay, come on.
Let's give this some juice. This is cool.
Was not expecting this.
Like the dub effects and the vocals.
Is that George?
Oh, drill, let's go.
Is that George?
Man, them freaking 808s though.
It's very rhythmically interesting. I'm loving this.
Beatz.
Let's go.
Woo, let's go.
Oh man, this is filthy. Little iPhone sound, let's go. Ooh. Like that little counter melody.
I like how he's like panning it around like that, man.
Okay, it sounds like we got a little switch up right here. Let's see.
Oh man.
Holy! What?
Oh, this is fire right here, man.
Holy man.
Oh man.
The mix is so good too, holy shit.
Even lower. Take us home, baby.
Sick. That was so sick.
Great job on that one, bro.
Alrighty, so we got the sample here that Fearless gave us. I didn't really do too much to it. Changed the tempo, changed the key once I figured out what I wanted to do there. Once I had that done, I rendered it out and then I moved it up 12 cents from the original key, and I put halftime on it. It's gonna slow it down by 50%. It gives it kind of like a cool kind of tape vibe. I don't know, it's weird, but it degrades it in a pleasing way. And I was using the 12 semitone thing there because when you drop it down in speed, it also drops it down in pitch. But I wanted to maintain the pitch, so I used the the octave higher there. What else did we do? EQ'd it a little bit, took the bass out so that it wouldn't conflict with anything. I used this guy here, Glitch. This is free. This is a friggin' wicked plugin if you want to get crazy with it. Basically, it's an effects rack, and you can put in little patterns to determine when it's going to switch effects, which is cool. So you can make a little pattern. When it's black there, it's not enabled. When it's white, it's selecting one of these multi-effects at random, and you can dial in the chance that it'll switch to one of these effects. So you can get some pretty cool sounds with it. Let's see, EQ'd it a little more. Some OTT, Ozone Imager. Ozone Imager is sick. Just to space it out a little bit more into the stereo space if you have a mono input source. So just use that to widen it up a little bit, and then an EQ, and that was really it. Later on in the song, I have a pitch automations on it to kind of match the chord, and that's really it for the flip of the sample. Like, I didn't do a whole lot to it. We get this kind of vibe. So that's kind of fun. Oh, I threw a little tape stop on it too. Okay, so then if we go to our synth section, I basically just went through and tried to capture all of the melodic elements from the sample and recreate them in the synthesizer. The arpeggio going, found a sound that I liked. Doubled it up with another sound. So that's fun. There was the bass hitting the root note, and then it does the octave on the following bar, so I just found a nice bass tone for that. We got this little lead. Gotta use pigments for that. Big fan of pigments. Matched up the lead with some guitars, and yeah, that's really it. Got some drums going. Yeah, so really it was just kind of taking the melodic elements from the sample and trying to match them up with sounds that I like to make a new vibe, and that was really fun.
What?
Okay, sounds like some effect tricks. Really industrial. Right on.
Okay, let's go. Ooh, this feels like some retro shit.
Yo, I would have never thought of this.
This sounds like it could have been a horror theme for a horror movie. Like the movie theme. Oh my god.
Oh, that bass stab, man. You feel that shit. Let's go.
And now we're gonna get EDM into it.
What is...
This is groovy right here, man. This is nice.
So clean. Come on.
It gives me like that 80s vibe and all stuff.
Really reminds me of when I used to listen to Ice Nine Kills. And like the German band, I forgot their name.
Wow, you went wild on this, fam. This is fire.
It gives me those kind of vibes, man. That's nice.
This just makes you want to move.
Where we're gonna get a guitar solo? I hope so, I really hope so.
Love the guitars in the back. That's the classic Stooodle, I know. Let's go.
Yes, we're gonna get the guitar solo for sure. I just feel it coming.
Ooh, I like the guitar.
Okay. Let's go. Bring us back.
Oh yes, told you. Really dig this.
Holy smokes, I felt like that added like a million parts to it, man. That is absolutely killer, dude. Shout out to you, Stooodle.
That was freaking dope, man.
Alright guys, so the first thing that I did is I messed with the sample and I wanted to make it sound a little bit different in each section of the beat to give it some sort of a transition and change up. At the very intro, I went ahead and put a halftime on the sample, and that's pretty much the only thing I did here because there's a lot of other stuff going on that we'll look at later. Once the beat actually gets into the drop, I wanted to bring in the samples and keep them almost original. I went ahead and used this UAD Neve 88RS, which is a channel strip plugin, and I also used this tape Mellowfi just to give it some vinyl distortion effects. And then I went ahead and finished it off with a Fin Micro using a big hair, which is sort of like a phaser flanger sort of effect on there. And on this next section, I kept it even lighter and I just used that channel strip on this one. Alright, and on the next section, it was time to get a little crazy with it, so I went ahead and put that same tape Mellowfi on here along with a Neve 88RS channel strip, but we used Rift, and if you don't know what this is, it's a modular distortion plugin, and it absolutely goes crazy. I used one of my favorite presets in here called a Lost World, and it almost gave it a sort of an arpeggiator effect. Check this out. Alright, next I made this little transition that goes between the first beat and the switch up. And this one is pretty much the same as the other one, except I used a different Rift effect here called Vox Corruptor that gives it some warbling and some weird bouncing effects in the background that I think sound pretty cool. And then on the beat switch up, I had to go even crazier with it, so we did quite a bit here. First, we used some OTT, which is an Ableton stock plugin, followed by a resonator, and I used the Moscow preset. Then we went ahead and made a chain, and I kept the original signal on one of the sides, and then on the other side, I kept a vocoder and another OTT to give it even more of a crazy effect. After that, I used a Fin Micro with more of a gate effect to give this some like choppiness. Then I also slapped on a Primal Tap to give it a detuned delayed effect. And that was pretty much it, so let's check this out. Alright, so on this track, I also used some crazy textures and build-ups to make this feel like a more complete song. And that gave it this really dark and futuristic feel that went really well with the half-timed melody. But then I had to add in this crazy vocal that is a little bit trippy. And you'll notice as this vocal plays, it actually starts to widen and get bigger in your ears, so it almost fills up the stereo space. And on these vocals, I went crazy. I used a couple different vocoder chains right here. I also used this Fin Micro plugin again. I absolutely love this thing. I use this jet plane effect. I also use this imager. This is one of my favorite stereo imagers here. And I went ahead and modulated the width, so it's getting closer and closer as it progresses. Another thing I did to kind of help guide the transitions is I went ahead and used a riser and a little beep sound to make it sound like something is coming up in switching. So like I said before, there is a major transition in this beat. So what I had to do to make it more cohesive is I had to use some down risers and a bass drop effect. And this is what that sounded like. And another thing I did to introduce that next section is also add in some more vocals that once again have a trippy feel to them. And this time I used Alter Boy to go ahead and make each one sound a little bit lower in tone.
One who has swallowed poison should be given an emetic immediately.
Alright, and the last thing I want to show you guys is the 3 different 808s and how I made those fit into the beat so well. I find that switching up the 808 samples throughout the beat can actually take a stale beat and turn it into an interesting one, so long as you use the right samples. So the first 808 that I used is this one that's from my upcoming drum kit. It's a nice distorted sort of an 808, and the kick pairs with it really nicely. Alright, so on the next part, I use the infamous Spins Kit 808, and if you don't know, I have a free download on the website for the perfect Spins 808 and all the plugins that make it just sound fire, so check this out. Alright, and then after that, we transition back into the first 808 and kick that we played. At the switch up of this beat, we used a completely different 808, which is super big and aggressive sounding, and it was really great to change up the vibes of the beat. Anyways, guys, that's the meat and potatoes of this track, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Alright, Fearless. Let's see what you got, man.
Ooh.
Okay, okay. I need that too. Editing some vocals. Whoa, right on. Right on. Yeah.
Them drums knocking.
808 stutters, those are top notch as well.
Man, like, to get those 808s as crunchy as that in Ableton is very hard. I need to ask Fearless his mastering chain, bro.
Ooh, I like that filter automation too. That's cool.
One who has
Filter
swallowed
sequence.
poison should be given an emetic immediately.
Whoa! New 808, let's get it, boy. Bring it on. Bring it on. Boom, boom. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yes, triplets.
The hi-hat switch up.
Trippity, 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 triplet. Yeah.
oh, the triplet feel is a vibe today, man.
And he's even like gating the them drums were knocking, man.
I was way hyped. There were so many different uses of the sample and but it still drove the whole thing, you know? That was crazy.
Alright, I want to give a special thank you to Andrew Huang. I don't know if he's the first one to do this video, but we definitely stole the video idea from him. And if you guys want to see more of these types of videos, just let us know in the comments below. And if you guys want to learn more about the new drum kit, you can check this out right here.